Hello everybody, welcome to Just One Perspective. My name is Josh. Let's get right down to business. First things first, this is an Aberlour 12-year-old single malt scotch. And it is delicious. And it is perfect for a beautiful day like this. So, thanks again for joining. I wanted to talk a little bit about interviewing for a management position at your company or another company. So you want to be a manager or a supervisor or somebody in a leadership position. Before I jump in, who am I? Why should you listen to me? Why would my advice be any different than anybody else's? So I have been in a management role since 2018. I have interviewed for various management roles multiple times since then, and since back in 2014 when I did my first interview to become a manager. Clearly I didn't get it then, and in that time I have had multiple successes and multiple failures. So just from my experience, I think I have a couple things that I can share that might work for you, and some tips on maybe what not to do that might also not work for you. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. If you think it'll work for you in your particular situation, the company that you're currently interviewing for a management role for, then take it, use it. If it doesn't, crumple it up real tight, coil it into a ball, and chuck it over there. So jumping right in, I've got 5 tips for you on what you should do in an interview to become a manager or a supervisor. I'm going to use the word manager going forward. It's basically any leadership position. First, what I want you to do is answer this question. Why do you want to be a manager? Why do you want to be in a leadership role? If you cannot answer that question, you will not be getting that leadership role. That was my very first lesson learned. I first applied and interviewed for a manager role in 2014, like I mentioned, and I know the very moment that I did not get that role was when the interviewer asked me, "Josh, why do you want to become a manager?" And I said, "I don't know." And everything inside me sank. Looking back, that was actually kind of the right answer. I wasn't ready to go into management. I wasn't ready to let go of my current job duties. I was enjoying them too much. I was a developer at the time, so I was enjoying the day-to-day programming, typing away, code slinging, doing all that kind of stuff, and so I wasn't quite ready to leave that behind. So that response was actually genuine. It's too bad that I didn't think about it before I applied for the job and got into the conversation with the interviewer and had to learn it in that moment with him in the room as well. So, answer the question, why do you want to be a manager? If your answer is, I want more money, stop, don't apply, don't interview. Because the people who are interviewing you want to hear something completely different. They're interviewing you to be a person in a company role. You will be a company man or company woman or whatever. And if you are not there to enforce company policy, you're out. If you're there just for the bucks, or if you're there because, my current boss is just a jackass and I could do better than him or her, probably not going to go so well. So what's your real reason for going in? Think hard about that. That is number 1. That is key. Number 2, think about what you would do differently in the role. What's your brand? What would you bring that's unique to the role? Who are you, and how would that manifest in your leadership style? And what would that mean for the people serving beneath you, for the people in your charge? What would you do for them on behalf of the company, and what would you do on behalf of the company for them? Did I say that same thing? What would you do for the company on behalf of them? Right? Back and forth. What are you going to do differently? Maybe you've seen some other managers, previous bosses you've had, where you like what they did. They had this style, this style, this style. You really like that open communication. They were forthright. They were transparent. Is that what you're going to bring? Or are you going to bring performance management? Are you going to really hone in on where people are doing well and where they're not doing well, and help them get better, do some coaching, that kind of thing? Are you sort of a guidance counselor in that sense, helping everybody get better at their careers? Or are you more of the I need everybody to go, 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 and so we're going to focus more on process to streamline everything and get everything to the finish line as quickly as possible. What do you bring that's a little bit different, that's unique, that's your style? What is your brand? Think about that. What are you going to do in the role? What's different? What makes you unique? 3, be yourself. Don't try to find the right answer to questions in the interview. Don't try to think that it's anything more than a conversation about you, your skills, and what kind of fit this is going to be with you in the company, okay? If you start to try to find the right answer, they will see that. They will go right into it. They will cut right into the middle. Jarvis, for God's sake, dog. Noise ordinance. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. So's Jarvis. Thank you for being here. Let's have some more of this Amaryllis. Oh, that's good. Okay, so yes, don't try to find the right answer. That comes off as phony, as fake, and it's not somebody who's really serious about the job. Are you going to try to find the right answer when you're dealing with 2 people who are fighting on your team? What's the right answer? There is no right answer. You have to charge forward somehow, just like you're going to have to in the interview. So, don't try to go in thinking that this is a multiple choice test or quiz. You will have to come up with what you would do and think about the correct answer for you on the spot. Okay? Well, not necessarily on the spot, because that goes into my 5th tip, but we're on number 4, so hold that thought. Number 4, like I said a moment ago, you are interviewing to be a company man or company woman. You are there to enforce company policy. If you have done anything to give these people any notion, any idea in the past that you will not enforce company policy, and you will rebel, and you will help the people beneath you rebel, you're out. You're out. It's just not going to happen. You have to somehow find a way to align with the company in such a way that you can enforce it and not go against any of your ethical principles. There are in my opinion, it's very rare that companies will ask you to do things that are unethical, right? There are lots of things that are keeping them at bay, and if you're working at a company that you think they're going to ask you to do something unethical in a manager role, then don't go for it. That's another reason not to go for it. Go find another company. Go work for somebody else who won't be asking you to do unethical things. So you're interviewing. What I'm talking about are the little things that might just irritate you or might not work out well for your situation, but they're not deal breakers. Everybody has deal breakers, and that's fine. If you find a deal breaker with your company, end your relationship with said company. But anything that's not, and you can't have 1,000 deal breakers. If you have 1,000 deal breakers, you're not going to make it into management, right? Because that's just trouble. You're just there to cause trouble, and that's going to make things more complicated. So find the things that are deal breakers for you, and everything else you have to enforce. And you have to demonstrate in the interview that you are willing, ready, and capable of enforcing them. Okay? So if you have ever disagreed with a company policy in the past and raised a stink about it, it'll probably come up in your interview if you're interviewing at the same place that you're currently working. So be prepared to answer that. Hey, in the past you seem to have trouble with this policy. How would you feel about now enforcing said policy? It's going to be a fun one. Be prepared. Be ready for that one. Tip number 5, mentioned it a moment ago, when in doubt, if you're not sure about the answer, the correct answer for you, Jarvis, you're failing this interview. Hey, you're barking at nothing. Come here. Apologies. If you have any doubt during the conversation about anything that you're saying, about what is the good boy, now you're passing the interview, I would hire you. If you're having any doubt about what is the correct answer for you, fall back to tips 1 and 2. Tip 1 being, why do you want to do this? And tip 2 being, what would you do differently? What is your brand, right? Draw on those 2 things. They will help guide you through those. This has to be a philosophical approach. You cannot get into a leadership role by taking a rules-based approach and trying to find what's the right answer here, what's the right answer there. If I'm put in this situation, what's the exact right thing? Because when you're put in that role, that is not going to be laid out for you. You are the person taking all of the complexities and all the vagaries of reality and forming them and molding them into something tangible for the people who are working for you. who are in your charge on behalf of the company and something bigger than all of you. So you have to be ready for that. So those are my 5 tips. I'm not going to talk for too much longer. I'm going to leave it right at that. I feel like other than Jarvis interrupting me, he's a good boy. I love him. Kepler's over there too, being very quiet. You're a good boy too. I'm going to leave it at that, except with one thing for all of you. If you know what to do with woodpecker eggs, let me know. I had to pull some out of my noise ordinance. You know, you can't even sit down these days to just record a video. But I had to pull a woodpecker nest out of my house, and I had to pull some eggs out. We got 5 little woodpecker eggs. I'm hanging on to them. I didn't have the heart to crush them, so or do anything with them other than just carefully take them out and preserve them. So hey, if you know what to do with woodpecker eggs, you let me know in the comments below. And other than that, next time we're going to chat about what to do when your boss tells you that he expects to see more. I've gotten some questions in real life about that from multiple people. Just like recently I had questions from multiple people about, hey, how should I go into an interview to become a manager or a supervisor? So I'm just drawing on personal experience at this point. Like I said, if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, then crumple it up and throw it out. And hey, let me know what did work for you. I'd love to hear that, because my experiences don't entertain the entire breadth of human experience, right? So if you have a different experience, you know where to put them. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time. Stay vigilant.